It's the 19th episode of the RSS. You're with me, Rashid Saleh, and of course, Jason Sim, aka the Kuchingite. We've got some random episode today because I thought that, this weekend obviously is the rugby for me, the Songkeng High Sevens, which is a part of the 60th celebration of the Sarawak Rugby Union. But we'll talk about rugby a bit later. But there have been a few things that's been on my mind. I thought I'd probably want to get your opinion on it. One, obviously, as you know, I run a PR company called Rushmont PR, and PR in Sarawak is still in its, I wouldn't say infancy, but I also say infancy because I don't think people really understand what we do, even though PR has been around for the longest time, and you used to work in media and all that. So it's very much related to media and how things are done. We're in a state or region where a lot of people who either you either work for the government or your tycoon son or daughter or work in
construction, architecture, engineering, real estate.
Yeah. And as some of my friends are pretty much are in that as well. So there isn't much diversity, and I just realized that we were talking about it earlier. We don't have that much in terms of creativity. This is why there's no comedians around. Well, the present company. Let me have a bit of chocolate while I'm
Oh, like you, they're probably all in KL. Yeah, so I don't know. The question.
Well, the question is what is it? I mean, living here, I know we're sort of also an aging nation, but you've been here long enough to know that is it because the media is controlled, or just that people don't understand that in terms of what public relations people do? I mean, in the government they call it spinning.
Yeah.
It is propaganda work. I mean, it's something I'm quite familiar with. That's all good. One day we will do the Timor episode, but I keep talking about that. So is it something that people don't know about it? Because you, like I said, you and I have been in this similar line, but here, for example, like when you're doing stuff do you have frustrations in terms of when you work, you have a client who that doing stuff for museums?
Yeah.
So how do you explain that to to the powers that be, that you need this kind of stuff for people to be able to visit the museums? It's not just the content that you're going to be providing, but it's about creating a demand for people to go there. I mean, with Borneo Cultures Museum, when it first started, there was a lot of talk and a lot of people doing, and that's PR. If you don't have that,
well, let me just say, I remember like almost 10 years ago when I used to dabble in PR, and they would even say, even then, this is how you define, to people what PR is, because not a lot of people would know. Like, I mean, I even had to explain to my own parents what public relations was, and I could imagine like what it's like when you started.
You're making me feel old now.
and this is like just 10 years ago for me. So I would think, I don't know, like everything else, Sarawak has a bit of catching up to do. But the thing I'll say about PR is like, and this, and we know some of those clients, right? Like, they'll know the value of PR when shit hits the fan,
Yeah, and then there's crisis management.
Yeah.
And that's PR, you know?
So they were like, oh,
that's why somebody's got to take the blame and then and be the spokesperson so that we sound good. It's spin doctors.
So when their shit is all over the news and they're in big trouble and their stocks tanking, and they're like, okay, now I know.
Let's get the PR people in. And it's usually the internal people who have to deal with it. But the thing about having a consultancy, and it is a consultancy firm that covers your asses, and it is, and make you look good a PR company does that, and people don't seem to understand the value of that. They see it as, oh, these outside guys who were like want to suck our blood, take our money, and then walk away, which is fair in the same sense because some companies just do that. They're like, oh, we just want to be in with this bigger client, and so that we can get other clients. But it's so important to be able to do a good job. When I first, with Rashomon 2 years ago, I think when we first started, it was really hard to get jobs because people didn't understand what we do. So we had to fall back on doing content first.
Yeah.
So, and that was a different type of public relations, and it is. Yeah. It's not just our entertainment industry, because in the corporate world, when you're doing content, the content I did was part of that PR. I would explain to the clients and all that. Look, you ask us to do this. For example, we had a client who wanted to do their 50th anniversary celebration. So one was a book, and the other one was a video. But the video was their way of going. This is how our company looks from a PR angle. Yeah. You see, because obviously they're paying for it. They got to look good. So we are portraying them, and I mean, a lot of it was like we went through the human aspect of the company, where people themselves from the company said, oh, we grew up this company without it, blah blah blah. This is a great PR angle. Yeah. So from that sense, yes, especially now in the modern world, modern industry, you have to have that kind of content. It's not about writing press releases and sending out to the media anymore. It's creating your own public relations as well.
I mean, did you have this issue when you started in KL?
No, because even in the 90s when I was working, there were already PR agencies. We worked alongside PR agencies because they were the ones who work the PR agencies and advertising agencies. The big companies had those consulting for them, so they focused on the one thing that they did was sell their product. They had other people from outside who would be helping them grow their image.
So the industry was mature enough at the time when you started. Yeah. So you didn't have to convince people like, oh, what's the value of doing PR work, no?
Yeah. So I mean, we had a couple of companies. I had this company called the owner passed away. Very nice guy, called Key Message. Yeah. And it's a PR company. Yeah. And they used to get us jobs to do their on-ground events. Yeah. But they were very good in terms of the clients trusted them because they knew that they could translate a lot of what the clients wanted, and then convert that into sales. And all that awareness was because they had a good. This guy was brilliant. He had this mind where he knew what the clients wanted, but he could also help the clients convert that into ROI. Pretty much really good ROI.
I mean, do you feel that the value that's given by these PR companies, like, do you feel the compensation was fair at the time? Now, do you felt like PR companies were still underpaid for the kind of job they were doing?
I mean, ad agencies are the ones who keep stealing all our money. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I can say that now because but some of them came up with really good stuff. But at the end of the day, ad agencies and PR agencies very, very similar in that sense. Yeah. But yeah, I think we were a lot undervalued even then, and you would only hear about certain PR companies, and it's always been a network thing. Okay, you get to be able to trust. If you get the trust of the client or your, because and it's a lot of the jobs that we get, irrespective of what people say, it is through networking, and unless you do a cold call or cold presentation that gets you the job, that means you're really, 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 really good. And until today, that thing you still have to do that. Irrespective of whether the technologies around us. But with PR, we were so undervalued at the time, but we got the job done. They got the job done. And even though at the time I was working in an event company, having someone to work with and seeing how they convert that messaging for the corporate client was amazing. I mean, because you never get that kind of learning from textbooks.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate in a way. I remember when I first started to do like digital marketing, like freelancing at the beginning. I remember at the beginning it was like trying to convince people like why you should go online. Like, and that time was Facebook and maybe this Instagram that was coming up. And then you'll be undercharged. You still have to convince what the thing is. But now at this time, it's like you're competing against a whole bunch of people who all are saying they can do it. So the market is kind of like saturated. I mean, saturated in terms of people like who think they can do like proper digital marketing. But there's no industry standard to kind of like gauge. I mean, it's not like we're full of agencies. I mean, do you look at it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, now digital marketing agencies are the new PR agencies of all these clients and all that.
So there was a time when it just popped up like mushrooms. Everyone saying they could do PR.
Yeah, I mean, we had PR. It was literally PR agencies and advertising agencies were obviously ad agencies could do more because they actually did the work in terms of, but they always had a PR arm inside the ad agency, like someone like, for example, Leo Burnett, or we had Sachi and Sachi. We had what was the other big ones?
Edelman and
so they were ad agencies and PR agencies at the same time. So and obviously the it's all under the umbrella of communications. Well, it doesn't have to be mass communication, but communications. So PR nowadays, look at the ad agencies. They're all dying because they haven't sort of been able to. What's the right word for it? Pivot, I suppose you could call it. PR consultants are different because they've modernized themselves. So now you still do, and it's so funny because here we still do the traditional PR work where you write press releases, you go out there, but nowadays there are many other ways to skin the cat, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean it's same with marketing. I feel it's a lot about educating, like even the clients, like what are you actually looking for? What are kind of matrix you are, looking for when you actually hire a client? So I don't know. I mean, you would ask a digital marketer or even a graphic designer or anything like that. I mean, everyone would say they are underappreciated, underpaid, until someone complains about your logo.
Well, I have. The only complaint about graphic designers is like deadlines.
Yeah.
What is it about? I almost said creative people, and not being able to meet a deadline. You get all this time in the world to get something done, and then you either do it last minute. I mean, it's just an observation, guys.
You can't rush art though. I don't know. I mean,
you can't rush art. It's fine if you're not being paid. You can do it till the cows come home. But when you're being paid, you got to reach deadlines, or else I got to do a 2025 logo. You come out with it in 2026. Come on, be logical. I mean, I'm not going to defend graphic designers.
No, I wasn't. But when we say let's just see like if something like the next Sarawak airline like logo, right?
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can't mess that up.
You can.
I mean, you can. I mean, sure, but I mean,
you can't mess it up. Come on. Remember what was the one that the first TVS logo? I know I don't want to talk about that anymore. Come on, man.
Yeah, the first change.
The first change.
With the brick wall.
It looked like some 80s version of like, I don't know what.
But yeah, imagine that. I mean, I mean, it's a hell of a job to get. I mean, every graphic designer should want that job, but oh man, please don't mess it up.
Yeah, I know, because, and it is, PR and branding. So when you
Yeah.
do the logo, you have to explain why you do that logo, why the colors, why it's the shape, everything, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a PR company to be able to do that for you,
Yeah.
and explain it to the masses. And that needs to be done. It's communication.
Yeah.
But when you come up with a logo and you don't explain it and just go, "Oh, this is our new logo," we expect you to understand. No, PR. It's a PR. It's public relations.
Yeah.
So people misuse that PR word because it's like it is public. Your relations with the public. You are the one, the person in between.
Yeah.
To be able to translate that, or else the company's corporate communications, which is actually essentially a PR arm of the, they call it corporate communication. It's a PR arm of the company.
Yeah, having worked in KL for a long time and then lived overseas and stuff like that, I mean, how far do you think our industry is in comparison?
Behind?
Yeah, behind. I mean, you think it's behind, and I would put media, communications, PR, maybe marketing, advertising, all in that, and I'll throw in journalism as well, just for that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is, I wouldn't say a decade, but it is quite close in that sense. People would probably disagree with me, but in KL there are so many different niche PR agencies now, and they say it's hard because in KL now, I mean the print media is dying because PR companies are taking away their jobs. They're doing the dissemination of information. Now, because in the past, print media was the mouthpiece for government or the mass media. It's not now because it's been ridiculed and debunked. Look at the BBC. Once a company that was or had integrity, but now, I mean, CNN is CNN. CNN has always been for me like entertainment, even though it's a news network.
just being on the journalism side, just out of curiosity, like you see, you right?
I can't see for some reason.
Borneo Post, Dayak Daily, stuff like that. I mean, like how do you see our media freedom? Do you feel? Because I've always thought, like, I mean, I don't think we're that restrained in a lot of ways, and I say that Malaysia in general. We have Malaysia Kini and everything like that. But yeah, every time I watch press conference, I'm always waiting for just one media outlet to like, why aren't you asking him this? Why are you asking this minister this? So I don't know. Is it training? Is it fear of like offending your paymasters? If it is your paymasters, but I don't know.
Well, you have the funny thing is, if you ever been a journalist and you've had to ask those questions standing there, have you seen the media scrum whenever a minister comes and then a whole lot of people like in there?
Yeah.
And if you don't voice things out,
Yeah.
it'll all get lost. Or you do ask something like that, and the minister ridicules you.
Yeah.
Because that's how they ridicule you because they're trained too. I mean, these guys they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're gonna ridicule me, or shall I make you look stupid? If I was the minister, I'll go make it. But it's a hard-hitting question.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to frame it so that it puts them in an uncomfortable position, then you haven't done your job. So we know that they're like this. So you reframe the question so that they would have to answer it. Now this is something that you should know as a journalist anyway. Reframe it so that they're I wouldn't say forced to it, but they're obliged to answer the question and and not be on the defensive, because a lot of it, because like they know now, they say something, the standard thing is like, I was misquoted.
Yeah.
or what was the other one that usually comes from the ministers? It's like
Yeah.
I didn't say that. It was
it was
mine was misquoted.
out of context.
Come
and,
on, man.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, some of the hard questions, or even it's like, oh, how much does it cost? Like, who's paying for it? Like, where is the money coming from? Where's funding? I mean, yeah, we don't ask enough of those questions. We don't even get breakdowns of those.
Yeah. But instead, we hear it on Facebook and social media, this and that. So it adds to more speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the best, I would say, PR entities in the world is the White House spokesman.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, they've got answer 300 million types of questions that's not even related to but the budget and all that. That spokesperson's got to know everything.
Yeah.
And it's a heck of a job because it's one of the hardest and probably most noticeable and most scrutinized public relations position in the whole world.
How do you see our media freedom? I mean, in Sarawak and Malaysia as a whole.
It's a lot better than what we used to have in the late 90s and obviously
during the ISA times. Yeah.
We still can go. I mean, even you go back like with the Fahmi Reza thing. That was only 2018, 2019. Remember?
Yeah.
When we can talk about it. The balloon that dropped and the clown face and all that, and Najib's and all that.
Yeah.
And they still get sent to jail because there's no press freedom. There
Yeah.
still isn't much of a press freedom because this is why the questions are being asked are always the same thing because everyone's too afraid to lose their jobs.
And that balloon was a Sarakian, right? Yeah. So
Was
I think
it?
So. Yeah, I think so. But I don't want to name names, but yeah.
I did.
I think.
Wow, that's news to me.
Okay.
That's great PR. Didn't even know that it came from a
I
Sarawak.
don't know if we were talking about the same one, but yeah, I remember that, and it's daughter of a very prominent person as well.
Oh, was it?
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I would say yeah. I mean, it's a lot better than, of course, during the times where detention with that trial, but there's a lot of self-censorship. We haven't got to the point where, please just ask him how much is it going to cost, And then he'll probably get ridiculed by like you ask the premier that, and he's gonna probably ridicule the guy for asking this question. But journalism is having the thick skin and fortitude to kind of ask the hard questions.
Well, now we have, and I call it the Western media because it's West Malaysia now.
Yeah.
They're a lot more braver.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the Prasarana thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've already talked about how Douglas literally just did
I mean, he's like walking material. So
for satire.
Yeah.
So we love doing that, but we used to do that, but it wasn't out. We didn't have we didn't have a good PR thing. I'm not good PR, but but things like that. So you have people afraid to when he did that, the media ridiculed him, and it wasn't just comedians, but because they knew that a lot of things had changed. I think when the opposition, now government, took over the first time, and then learnt subsequently after the Sheraton move and all that. This time around, it's unique because it's a unity government, but it's very much opposition-led in that sense.
Yeah.
And this time around, we do have the communications minister, Fahmi Fazal, is a lot more understanding because he used to come from theatre. So yes,
Really?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
he was actually a theatre actor.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I know him. Anyway, so
Okay.
and yeah, so he is. Obviously, there's stuff from the government that needs to be. I don't so whether it's protected or not.
Yeah.
But he's a lot more understanding in how there must be a two-way communication between the government and the rakyat.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I mean, yeah. And there's still a long way to go because remember the government has only been around for one term, and we keep. It's like Ten Hag. You got to give him time.
Yeah.
You got to give that government time, because we're so used to being,
But how about Sarawak though? I mean, we've obviously had the same government for a long, long time. Do you feel there's enough critical voices? I know that impulse to not criticize government now, and I put myself in this, like we're in a good place right now, and a lot of people are praising government, and we a lot of us, most of us, are quite appreciative of what the government's doing now. I mean, the PR is pretty good as well, like. But yeah, so then the critical voices are drowned out. I mean, it doesn't help that we only have like what, two opposition MPs, 2, 3, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the media has a role to play.
But that work was not started during Abang Joe's time. He's continued a legacy, or the start of something that was already done by the late.
Yeah. But I just feel like all ministers should be subjected to really critical questioning.
They should, but again, it depends on reframing the questions. There's an art of having to get stuff out of people without them feeling, because a lot of the things is you can do the hard talk kind of thing the whole time, but not everyone can handle it. I mean, you've got our PMX, who's proven time and time again, he knows how to handle questions, and he handles it logically, whether you like him or not. He's been a great statesman in that sense. This is what we should all be striving for as politicians. And he's not because he can speak English. His Malay is impeccable. I mean, as well. So his Arabic is really good as well. So as much as put aside all the stuff, he's a great PR person for Malaysia. And what he's doing now, I mean, whether you support him or not, I don't really care, because I'm looking at it from Sarawak point of view. Yeah, we should be striving to do the same thing. However, because our journalists or our media has always been, in a sense, and we all know this, suppressed for the longest time, getting out of that, it's going to take a long time. We need, of course, press freedom is important, but there's also such a thing as too much press freedom, where we see now with social media, everyone is suppressed, everyone has an answer. So it affects the actual official press people, because no one knows now the lines are blurred. We don't know what's right or wrong. So remember that there was one article or one incident happened, and everyone went on it and said it, and it turned out to be wrong. No one took back and go, hang on a minute, let's break this down. And what you do is, whenever you get information, you go, check the sources, right?
Well, that defines a quality journalist, right? But
yeah. So we haven't reached that stage yet either, because we've spent so much time being suppressed that everyone's afraid to make informed decisions, to make informed journalist calls. But that's now happening in Peninsula. I'm not saying that it never did, but there are a lot more people who are more responsible and being able to make the call to ask the hard-hitting questions to the ministers, and they're able to now, because the government now, they know they're open to criticism, and they're I wouldn't say they're okay with it. It's just that certain ministers from different parties, they've been so used to being the ruling party, but now they're part of this unity government. They've also been forced to go, I can't just say what I want now. Yeah. So yes, but here obviously we've had stability for the longest time, and you just mentioned about just having two. They're the voices they're just voices for the rest of the people who want to make a thing out of it. I mean, the one biggest issue everyone keeps talking about is the native land rights, and that's forever going to happen until someone, the journalist or whoever, decides to go, okay, what can we do about it, to explain it to us. But everyone's like, too afraid to talk about it because they might lose their jobs, or even, I dare not say it, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, and I think for a lot of them, like when we talk about self censorship, like, yeah, I mean, especially now, it's like probably the worst time to be like anti-government, you know, especially when the government is like popular, but you know, sometimes this is when you need the most critical voices. I don't know, maybe there's a role for like podcasts and things like that, like for them to play. But yeah, I mean, we talked about like PR, and then on the other end, like journalism, right? So what do you think about like in terms of marketing and things like that? And do you feel? Well, let me throw this to you. Like, do you feel they are like Sarawakian brands just a bit
Valued?
undervalued? Yeah, just because of the lack of you know, full scale like marketing, digital marketing, things like that.
Branding,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there are a few. I mean, I talked about, again, earlier, um, before we started, was, you know, Leia Sports Center,
Oh.
LSC. I think it's a great brand, and over the years, it's always just been kept as you know, a local brand. But over the years, I mean, recently, it's gone on decline because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a lack of understanding of how the brand can be bigger than it is, and it needs a lot of convincing to be able to do it. I know it's a retailer, but you know, there have been retailers that have done really, really well.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the other one I mentioned is Roxy. It's on a big rise to a Roxy Hotel brand, right?
yeah,
And the owner has done really, really well. Whether they want to go beyond the shores, it has the potential to be a really, really good hotel brand that will be very Sarawakian, a very Sarawakian brand, but you know, that will become a household name.
yeah. It's interesting you mentioned like
So imagine if like have a Roxy in Kuala Lumpur, and like a lot of Sarawakians stay there.
it's interesting you mentioned brands like Roxy and Leia Sports Center, where you know at least like 2, maybe 3 generations of Sarawakians will know because it's like maybe it's been around since maybe the 80s. So yeah, there's a lot of longevity. Like the brand equity has been built up for a long time. So do you feel it's just like untapped? At least in the point for Leia Sports Center, you think Leia Sports Center could be a lot bigger than it is right now? Like what do you think they need?
I think it's just one or two products within their brand that they should promote themselves, because it's known as a sports brand, right?
Yeah.
And they always bring in different sports brands within the retail. One good thing that I loved about them is they sell the Kuching football jerseys.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't find it anywhere else unless it's in Leas. So that's one kind of thing. Maybe they could have gone, become a part sponsor of Kuching.
Yeah.
Kuching football or Kuching City
GFC,
Football.
yeah.
And that would be great. Yes, you know, they'll be like, why should I do it? Because it's a Sarawakian brand, and that team plays in the league, and your brand will be seen, and they're also in, you know, on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, that's eyeballs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ROI already. And
Yeah.
the fact that they play, whether they get paid or not, is different matter lah. But you know, you stick yourself to a good brand like that, everyone will know. Next time non-Sarawakians want to come to Sarawak, the first thing they say, oh, Leia Sports Center or connected Kuching
Yeah.
City. So that kind of thing, you know. But you've got to. So when that happens, you get to a PR agency, say, by the way, help us, you know, shout this out in the world. That's our job.
Yeah. No,
Just a small stuff like that, and you like, you know, even Roxy now, you could do the same thing. It's just a matter of getting them into the public eye, really into the public, not just Sarawak, but because no one outside Sarawak knows about Roxy Hotel. I didn't know anything about it when I came back, and I only knew when I was here that, you know, it was an up and coming brand. And I thought, wow, this could be done really well. It's also the question of, are they willing to spend that money? Because you know, like we said earlier, PR is so undervalued as well. PR itself is so undervalued because people don't see the value in it. People don't understand the value in it.
Yeah.
How it can help, build your product and your brand and your marketing, and digital marketing is part of that PR thing. So we use things like digital marketing. We use things like the media, the even the company itself to help propel their product or service.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, I don't know if I was looking too much into it, but I remember just Googling when I said Borneo Sonic, and I was like looking through the news section. I was like, yeah, quite amazed how few national media outlets actually covered the event. It was all at Sarakian. I mean, is that a PR failure? Is that I mean, why is it not like exposed outside the country? Isn't that the whole point? I don't know.
Well, because
I mean, granted, I mean, I don't hear all the time about like local Penang events or Melaka events or whatever. They probably have a few, but I just thought like, is it the onus on the PR companies to make sure this event gets picked up by national media?
well, the first question you need to ask is whether they engage a PR company or not. And Borneo Sonic, I think we don't. So now it's a do we are saying, oh, did they promote it on the other side? Yes, of course they did, because Borneo Sonic came from West Malaysia. It's that we don't get to see that kind of we don't see the what do you call it, the media reports from there, because it's done over there. So
So what was this? What's done over there?
So any of the press releases and all that is done on that side. Of course, we don't get to see it because, it's for that market. But if you are within in the company, of course we're only going to see stuff on here. But if you're, if you're,
No, but I mean, like, is it problematic that it's not on the Star, New Straits Times, or it's on the Diet Daily?
do we know that? It's not in NSD?
I mean, that's what I looked up. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we could look it up now. Like, so I was surprised how little coverage there was like outside.
Again, maybe they did invite. Again, I don't know how they did it or not, because at the end of the day, there was 30,000 people. So how did we promote it? I mean, we may have promoted outside of the country. I don't know, but we need to look at the numbers and go, if there were a lot of West Malaysians, then yes. How did they promote it? It may not have been through traditional media. It might have been just social media.
Well, maybe like the post-event coverage was a bit lacking from my point of view. Yeah, I don't know, because I looked it up after the post-event and I was like, well, why are no West Malaysian outlets like covering this?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's.
I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Because maybe we could have a look and go, how was Rainforest done?
Yeah, Rainforest is like the coverage is.
Now extensive, but prior to that, no. I mean, even in the 10th year, when I went there, it wasn't. But people started coming. Again, Rainforest has the advantage of having been around a lot longer.
I mean,
remember, it's only the second year.
Yeah.
So it's done well. Imagine that we do the PR properly for that. Again, I can't say it until I get the information.
Yeah.
That is something I can't really I don't want to speculate on it because I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done well. We're so good at this kind of thing. The government or whoever's in charge go, oh, we did well. We got these numbers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the question, as you said, should be asked. It's like how can we improve on it? What were the critical areas that were wrong with it? And that's why journalists should come in. I mean, I heard there were complaints about the sound and all that, but it wasn't really out in the mainstream, the mainstream media, in the media.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt they will even like mention it.
Because there are people in social media who wrote posts about it. So, but overall, did people complain? I don't know. I mean, some things got viralized, obviously, but yeah. But that's a positive spin. You can, if PR companies decide to do it, they'll put it up and go, and utilize that kind of thing to get more views and get more people coming next year.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I assume you have a long, extensive background in PR, whereas I mean, my first job was on a newspaper, so I was related to like journalists a lot more. But yeah, so in terms of asking the critical questions, like I've always been more interested in that rather than the spin. So even this marketing thing was like quite a recent thing. But yeah, just out of curiosity. So how do you think? I mean, do you think it's a matter of time, or I mean, do you have any thoughts on how you could change like people's minds, or like into the value of PR, the value of like marketing? I mean, you obviously moved here 3 years, set up shop, and then I mean, do you just ride the wave, or I mean,
Wave? Okay.
yeah, like cause a little ripple? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, people say, oh, you don't have any PR, you're an actor. I said, being an actor is the biggest PR job in the world. It's having to not just sell yourself, but be out in the public eye the whole time, being able to do that.
Yeah.
And then now, being behind a company that does PR, that people still see me as the company, which
Yeah.
obviously that's the correct thing to do. But in the long term, I don't want to be like that. I want the company itself to be known as someone that can do this kind of thing. So coming in here 3 years ago, and now setting up the company 2 years ago, yes, it's essential that I be part of that story of Rashomon to get the obviously the jobs and all that. But what we want to do as Rashomon PR is to be able to go in there and say, hey, this is what we can do, and my colleagues or whoever that's going to be working with it can do the same thing. So my job is just to train, and it should be essentially at the end of the day. Yes, I'll go in and get the acquire the jobs and all that. The actual work itself, until we find a mentee or someone to teach.
But how do you convince, the potential clients, general population, like for the worth of PR? I mean, what do you have in mind?
I mean, you've got to look at it. It's always a case by case. Not everything. Unfortunately, not everything fits in one basket. With PR, you always have to have a look. I mean, I suppose the normal thing is you look at the company and go, what's missing, what is lacking, and you've got to go in there and ask the questions. You do all the research prior to that, and then because we talk about pain points, right?
Yeah.
And that's part. I'm not just PR, but that's part of marketing as a whole.
Yeah.
You look at the company and goes, it's not about what we can do for you, but it's like, let me help because it's about them. Yeah. It's not about us. The best PR companies is the ones who convince their clients is that, hey, let us take away this problem for you and we fix it. It's not about, oh, we're really good, we know how to do, we know what your problem is. Of course they know what the problem is. They don't want to hear that. Yeah. It's like, I understand, tell us what your problem. It's like being a psychologist or a doctor going, you got a bad knee, you say, okay, let me help fix that. I don't go, you got a bad knee. I say, oh, okay, oh, you this is your problem? Oh, okay, thank you for telling us. Okay, let's fix it. Some companies will go, tell us what our problem is. That one can now. Well, but a lot of it is you've got to do PR with the company before that you hire them as well. But it's a whole lot of questions having to ask. It's like asking a child what they want.
Yeah.
Not any child, but a child that can speak. You could try to speak to a child who can't speak. It takes forever. And a lot of companies are like that. Anyway, so soft.
Yeah, but I mean, okay.
They don't even know what their problem is, or they refuse to see what their problem is.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned Leah Sports Center. You mentioned Roxy. Any more like you feel like undervalued Sarakian brands? I mean, like the low-hanging fruits. I don't know if you would call this Sarakian anymore. It could be more Sabahan, but things like Sugar Bun, things like that. Do you feel like I mean, these are like legacy brands that could do a lot more. Right?
Could have done a lot more. Yeah. There's the other one is Chicago 7 a local brand as well, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and that also. I mean,
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm quite sure it is.
Yeah, but Sugar Bun. Remember, we used to have a Sugar Bun branch in PJ. It was in Damansara
Did they?
uptown. Yeah.
I know
used
they
to
had
go-
one in Melbourne.
I went. They have one in Melbourne. Oh my goodness.
They had one in
even know
Melbourne.
that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I think they still have one in Melbourne, if I'm
Is
not
it?
wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was like the the newest type of sugar bun where they tried to sell laksa and things
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah.
Why?
You know, I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think at the time the the Sugar Bun brand
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did to because people talked about it. I mean,
Yeah.
even in West Malaysia, like, oh, Sugar Bun, yeah, it's the Sarawak brand.
Yeah.
That was already really great, you know.
Yeah.
And when they opened in Damansara uptown at the time, I went.
Yeah.
I went. I was like so excited. I mean, at the time you didn't care what it tastes like, but it's Sarawak brand. I'm going to support it.
Yeah.
That's really great marketing. That's really great PR.
Yeah.
For someone to be able to do that, I mean, whether they did it internally, I don't know. I mean, you should capture that kind of feel again, you know?
Yeah.
Because God, they you know, it was out in the newspapers and stuff as well. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you should replicate that kind of strategy and
Yeah, I feel a lot of these brands like they have a lot of nostalgia play that can be done, you know?
oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could turn it around and you know, you could. What was your best memory at Sugar Bun?
Yeah. You know,
At Sugar Bun, not eating Sugar Bun, but at Sugar Bun.
yeah.
So that leaves you really, you know, was it your date or was it, you know,
Yeah.
sitting down when your car broke down?
Because
There's
it's
many
been around
stories,
long
right?
enough for
Exactly.
that. Yeah. So
You know, what was
hire
yours?
us, please.
What do you think we're talking about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff you can know. Or somebody will steal the idea anyway. But no,
Even Leah Sports Center, like I remember everyone's first football boot came
mate,
from
why
Leah Sports
do you think we
Centre.
talk about shoes and you know
Yeah.
anything? That's why and I remember LSC, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember my first was a gold cup. And then because that's all my parents like were willing to pay for. And then after that it was a Diodora. I remember
Diodora,
Diodora, yeah.
Wow.
That's a Baggio one. That was an upgrade.
Roberto Baggio.
Yeah.
My
So-
goodness.
While all my friends
you
were
are
buying
old.
Predators and yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. I mean, there could be a lot of brands like this here which could use like a, you know,
Yeah, reinvigoration.
yeah,
If that's the right word for it.
yeah,
Yeah. So there are many things. Even our spice. I mean, again, when it comes to food, you know, we've got so many different. I think like we did mention once. It was in an article. There's like 140 different types of rice in the world, right? And there's a lot here. Everyone always talks about barrio rice, you know.
yeah,
But there are so many ways of now promoting it, and if you do the right PR for it, you know, it's not about whether it tastes good or it's better, but it's a lot of when it comes to marketing, it's the story. It's the same thing all over. I mean, it's always the storytelling of the actual brand. That's why brands like, for example, Guinness does well because it's a legacy brand. People talk about not just the taste, the smooth, whatever you want to talk about it, but how it started. KFC is probably one of the best examples. They keep talking about it. How Colonel Saunders, you know, he started at 50, whatever it was,
yeah,
you know. And there's films about McDonald's. That's a great marketing and PR move. Imagine you do a film about
yeah. Sugar bun.
yeah. Sugar Bun, the story. I mean, not about how but you know, a series of short stories about people. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm getting like.
We have little brands like that. Yeah. You know, we could do a lot well. I mean, with things like Beras and things like that. Yeah, my understanding is like it's just more, you know, we have lack of agricultural output. I mean, we clearly have demand for all our, you know, resources, but things like there's also Sugar Bun. I mean, they're little SMEs, if you can still call them SMEs. Yeah, they could use a little marketing push. Yeah.
because they're still very. I mean, they're still surviving. I mean, and the fact that the especially now when we have so many choices when it comes to food. I mean, you know how many food festivals you yourself just last weekend went around to City One to
a little small food fest.
And then they're competing with those kind of those little mamas and papas, pop-up stalls who are doing well.
Yeah.
So Sugar Bun it's almost like a Sarawakian institution that just needs to not only survive, but I think it should thrive, because maybe there needs to be some kind of marketing ploy or marketing trick to make the food look good again and taste good again. In fact, it's not that bad. I still once in a while I still go to Sugar Bun. I take whenever we have on a shoot or anything, we'll go there.
I mean, I saw that little thing where they did a promotion on top of the Grab car with a little diorama of the things like that. But I mean that was cool. It got attention for a while. But we can't help feel it's just a undervalued brand.
Yeah.
I mean,
what would be so funny? Yeah. After this, and somebody watches it, and then suddenly they're doing little stories about what did you do at Sugar Bun when you were small? It's the same thing about board games. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, free. This is why we do this. Just dish it out for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It pays. Pays later.
Yeah. Oh, that's the idea.
Yeah. But like I said, talking about PR, it's really important because I think people in general need to understand why I do what I do.
Yeah.
And it's important that people understand that we also play a very important role in driving how their products or their brand is perceived in the general public.
Yeah.
And people say, no, the company knows what they're doing. I say, yeah, obviously, but they have strong PR, marketing arms, and the sales is sales. Sales will go according to how marketing or PR, marketing is to drive the sales, but PR is the one that makes them go, oh, what is this product? Oh, does it look good? That's part of branding.
Yeah.
Branding and PR go hand in hand.
Yeah.
At least in my book. I mean, just imagine, you strip it down to being an actor. It's like, if I have no PR, no one's going to know who I am. There's no point doing any marketing or sell myself because people don't know who I am. I got to go out there and introduce myself. This is stripping PR down to its bare essence.
Yeah.
As an actor, you got to go out there and introduce. Hey, my name is. This is what I do. I can act. Blah 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 blah, and be able to convince someone that I am an actor. I am. That's my job.
So do you see this next phase as like a birth of more Sarawakian PR marketing agencies and stuff like that, or even like West Malaysian companies coming and set up shop here?
That will only happen when companies here are willing to spend on it and I think it's first just education and them understanding what a PR agency does, especially in this day and age, because it's not just now writing, like I said, writing media releases, and now it's digital marketing plays a part. Having your website done, how it's written, that's all PR work. Copywriters and all that. PR, and there's always this blurred line between PR and ad agencies, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things. The way PR is done is different, but the essence of PR is still there. The fundamentals of public relations is still there.
Yeah.
So if you're from Sugar Bun or from
LSC
or even Roxy, can always email us this down here, and we're more than willing to help you guys out. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be in Sarawak, and so will he. And he's still wanting to we'll talk about whether you want to join my company or not.
Yeah, I mean, The secret's out. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. I got time. I got time. Yeah.
On that note, you've been watching us, and yeah, if you do, give us a call.
Yeah.
Bye bye.